If one morning everything goes dark, power out, shelves bare, and 911 silent, I want gear that still works. I'm here to walk you through the 7 firearms I trust most for real SHTF scenarios, options that cover foraging and small game hunting, close quarters defense, and longer range work when you're far from town. I'll explain why I picked each platform, who they're best for, urban versus rural, and the logistics that actually matter when supply chains break, common ammunition, magazine compatibility, and basic field maintenance. This isn't theory, it's practical triage. I'll start with the choices people sleep on and move to the ones I'd rather have if I had to defend a property or feed a family. Expect me to talk specifics. .22 LR viability for lightweight food procurement. Why a pump shotgun like the Mossberg 500 is a survival workhorse. When a compact pistol such as the SIG P365 beats bigger handguns, and why the AR-15 platform often earns the top spot for utility, especially given the ubiquity of 9mm, .233/5.56, and 12-gauge ammunition. If you want a realistic loadout breakdown after this, comment urban or rural. I'll tailor the follow-up. Now let's start at number 7 and work up to the one I'd pick to take everywhere. I'll start with a firearm many tough guy channels scoff at, but I keep in the safe, the .22 LR rifle. I pick it for practical reasons. .22 LR ammunition is cheap, light, and ridiculously common, which matters when every ounce counts and resupply is uncertain. A reliable rimfire like the Smith & Wesson M&P 22 or Ruger 10/22 with a 16.5-inch barrel and a soft, predictable trigger makes small game work painless and lets me carry hundreds of rounds without crippling my pack. Its lower recoil and often sub-4-pound weight mean I can teach new shooters without turning them off the sport. Shot placement matters. A quiet, accurate bolt or semi with a 2x3 optic gives humane kills on rabbits and squirrels, and a threaded, suppressor-ready barrel reduces sound when stealth matters. Downsides exist. Rimfire primers can be more prone to intermittent failures than centerfire firing pins, and terminal performance is limited compared with 9mm or .308, so I don't rely on a .22 for large predators or home invasion defense. Still, for long foraging walks or endurance training, logistics favor the .22. Ammo abundance, lightweight mags, and simple maintenance. I also carry spare firing pins, a bore snake, and a small parts kit to keep reliability high. I always carry spares and clean it after long outings.
Moving into something a bit more modern and urban-friendly, XAR EP9 is my number 6 because it blends pistol mag convenience with carbine control. I value a platform that accepts Glock magazines and runs 9mm, since those mags and that caliber are ubiquitous and tradable when supplies get tight. The EP9's polymer receiver and roughly 3.5-pound unloaded weight make it comfortable to shoulder and carry long distances. Its short 10.5-inch barrel and folding brace keep it compact in a bug-out bag while offering better sight radius and recoil control than a pistol. The simple blowback action is easy for new shooters to learn and straightforward to maintain. NAR-style controls mean anyone trained on modern rifles will feel at home. In urban evacuation scenarios, high-capacity magazines, fast follow-ups, and the ability to mount red dots give real advantages over a solitary pistol, especially for less experienced partners. Downsides? A 9mm PCC won't match the range or terminal energy of a centerfire rifle, and suppressor compatibility and ergonomics often depend on aftermarket parts. I therefore carry extra Glock mags, spare springs, and a compact tool roll with a small torque wrench. At a price point near $400 in many markets, the EP9 is affordable, lightweight, and logistically smart. Perfect slung across a messenger bag for minimal fuss deployment and maximum magazine commonality, and ideal for urban preparedness plans. I prefer a bolt gun for long-range food procurement and precision work, so the Tikka TX3 sits at number 5 on my list. Built around a smooth action and balanced chassis, the TX3 in .308 or 5.56 gives real flexibility. Pick .308 for stopping power on deer-sized game, or 5.56 if you want lighter ammo and better tradability. In the field, I value a crisp trigger and a rigid, free-floated barrel. Many TX3 models offer 22 or 24-inch barrels and a factory trigger that breaks cleanly in the 2.5 to 4-pound range, because those small details turn long shots into repeatable skill. Add an LPVO or a fixed 416X scope, and the rifle reaches well beyond any pistol-caliber carbine. Downsides are obvious. Bolt rifles have a slower rate of fire, and .308 rounds weigh and cost more per box than 5.56 or 22 LR, so I match caliber to resupply plans. For reliability, I carry a spare firing pin, a torque wrench for scope mounts, and a cleaning rod. And I practice one-shot drills, wind reading, and distance estimation. When I pack for brush country, I take a TX3 with a bipod, a moderate-length barrel for balance, and a suppressor-ready thread where legal. The precision payoff makes it indispensable when food on the hoof matters. Nothing beats being small, concealable, and utterly dependable when mobility and deniability matter most, which is why I rank the SIG P365 as my preferred deep concealment pistol. I carry and recommend a P365 chambered in 9mm because its compact footprint plus real-world capacity solves the usual micro-compact trade-off. The stock 10+1 capacity or upgraded 12 to 15 with extensions gives me follow-up shot confidence without forcing a full-size duty gun. Its roughly 3.1-inch barrel and short sight radius still group well inside typical defensive distances when I focus on fundamentals. As a striker-fired pistol, it has a clean reset and a controllable trigger that improves with dry-fire practice. The thin grip, low-bore axis, and ergonomic shape let me run quick, accurate strings under stress. For daily carry, I watch concealment and weight. Unloaded P365s commonly sit under 18 ounces, which helps reduce printing with the right holster and clothing. I train mag changes and malfunction drills specifically for micro pistols because reloads feel different than a Glock 19 or AR. I keep multiple 10 to 12 round mags rotated and serviced and favor 9mm for ease of sourcing and magazine compatibility when scavenging or trading. I always check local laws and avoid illegal mods. Properly equipped, the P365 is a quiet, effective pocket powerhouse I trust for concealed movement and short-range encounters.
I trust a pump shotgun more than most single-purpose rifles when I want one tool that covers the most survival tasks. In my kit, that usually means a Mossberg 500 or Remington 870 with a 20 or 18-inch barrel. The shotgun's ammo flexibility is unmatched. 7.5 to 9 birdshot for close pest control, 0.0 buck for home defense, and rifled slugs for reach and knockdown on deer-sized game. A simple slide action tolerates varied shell lengths and loads, and the tube magazine capacity, typically 4 to 7+1, depending on choke and tube, keeps things simple under stress. I value that a pump's manual operation is far less sensitive to fouling or weak primers than many semi-autos, and that I can improvise a wooden forend, swap barrels, or fit a short 18-inch tactical barrel without reinventing the platform. Training focuses on transitions between slugs and buck, reloads from a side saddle, and patterning at 25 yards to understand spread. My maintenance kit includes a spare action spring, a spare firing pin, and a basic choke wrench. Downsides, bulk, heavier reloads, and heavier ammo per effective round are real, so I balance weight and carry a handful of high-quality defensive shells, plus a larger stock of birdshot for food procurement. Practical, versatile, and mechanically simple, that's why the pump stays in my bag. A single handgun to represent the practical middle ground between concealability and combat capability, I keep coming back to the Glock 19. Chambered in 9mm with a standard 15-round magazine and a roughly 4-inch barrel, the G19 balances size and capacity in a way that makes it equally useful as a duty pistol, a compact carry gun, or a reliable backup to a rifle. I value the platform's field-proven reliability and aftermarket modularity. Swap the sights, add a red dot, change backstraps, and a tool that weighs around 22 to 24 ounces unloaded becomes remarkably customizable for different hands and roles. Training-wise, I drill reloads, malfunction clearances, and controlled pairs until the reset and follow-up shots feel mechanical, and I keep at least 3 serviceable magazines per shooter in rotation, plus spare recoil springs and an extra barrel boss if I'm traveling far from part support. Logistics matter. 9mm prevalence globally means ammo for the G19 is the easiest to find or trade, and Glock pattern magazines are abundant in the secondary market, which simplifies shared loadouts among allies. Downsides include the obvious. It's a handgun with limited effective range compared to carbines, and smaller hands sometimes need adaptation for extended strings. Legality and safe storage are non-negotiable for me. I check local laws before any configuration changes, lock the gun in a safe when not in use, and teach trusted household members safe handling. For everyday versatility, the Glock 19 is the pragmatic handgun I plan around.
I put the AR-15 at the top of my list because it simply does more of what I need.
straightforward modularity, widespread logistics, and user-friendly shooting characteristics. In my pack, I prefer an AR platform chambered in 223/556 with a 16-inch barrel for a balance of velocity and maneuverability. The platform's low recoil and predictable semi-automatic rate let me make fast, accurate follow-up shots while conserving stamina. I appreciate that a basic build like a Smith & Wesson Sport or a mid-tier BCM will still run thousands of rounds with a minimal parts kit, and that 223/556 magazines are everywhere, which is a survival-level advantage when trading or scavenging. When I outfit an AR for real-world tasks, I think about ergonomics, a mid-length gas system, an adjustable stock, a 1-to-6x LPVO for both close engagements and medium-range precision, and a lightweight free-floating handguard that keeps weight down around the 6 to 8 pound window unloaded. I pack multiple 30-round magazines, spare BCG and buffer spring, and a compact cleaning kit because field repairs and basic maintenance are non-negotiable. The platform's adaptability means I can swap to a shorter 10.5-inch barrel and brace if urban concealment becomes a priority, or run a longer barrel for suppressed distance work where regulations permit. Of course, the AR's conspicuous profile invites legal scrutiny, so I always check local laws before choosing configurations and never advise illegal modifications. Practically, training is where the AR shines for me. Transition drills, optics zeroing, and positional shooting translate directly to survival tasks. Given reasonable budget tiers, from budget builds to premium rifles, the AR-15 remains my go-to because it optimizes ammo commonality, modularity, and shootability in one platform. I also prioritize an ambidextrous lower, a spare sling, and a modest parts inventory, so a field fix rarely becomes a mission-ending failure, and I practice zeroing weekly, consistently. Wrapping this up, I want to leave you with 3 core takeaways that guide every choice I make when packing for a worst-case scenario. First, reliability beats gadgetry every time. I favor platforms that run when dirty, that have simple controls, and that accept common parts so a broken spring or fouled gas system doesn't ruin a mission. Second, ammunition and magazine commonality is survival currency. Think 9mm, 223/556, 12-gauge, and 22 LR. Because being able to trade or scavenge compatible rounds and Glock or AR pattern mags keeps options open. Third, match the tool to the environment. Concealability, weight, and barrel length matter for urban movement, while accuracy, caliber choice, and optics matter for rural procurement. I also stress training and maintenance. Run drills, rotate stored ammo, carry multiple serviceable magazines, and keep spare springs and a compact parts kit. Know and respect local laws, and never rely on emergency systems like 911 during a collapse. If you want a tailored loadout video, urban or rural, say so in the comments. Hit subscribe. Follow-ups will include loadouts, mag counts, and ammo rotation. See you in the next one, and as always, hold 'em down.